Hello, this is my screencast on building a classroom community. First and foremost, I believe the process of building a classroom community not only begins on the first day of school, but it continues to grow and flourish throughout the entire year. The classroom should be a place where students are free to express themselves within reason, of course, and without judgment as well. The first aspect is intellectual. As the teacher, I will be sure to give prompt and effective feedback to my students on a regular basis. I think this is really important because it continues to allow the children to grow as well as be comfortable with receiving feedback, whether it be positive or negative. My students will be encouraged to practice deeper thinking and to not be afraid to challenge themselves. A lot of times students are afraid to challenge themselves because they're afraid of failure. And I really want to foster the fact that it's okay to make mistakes and that's how you learn. And I'll go over that a little more later. Another thing that I want to incorporate is that my expectations will be clear and concise. The students will have clear ideas of what I expect from them, both academically as well as behaviorally as young learners. The second being social, I would like to have my classroom rules be made collectively by the students. Referring back to those rules will happen quite often. I think holding them accountable for something that they've developed is a really good thing for them to be comfortable with. Respect will be key in my classroom. They will learn to respect not only each other's physical space, but they will also respect each other's time. This is really important because I feel like now there are a lot of people, not just adults or kids, or, it's everybody that I think sometimes has a problem with respect. And I think teaching kids at a young age that it's important to respect not only yourself, but others is a really important skill to teach them at a young age. Group work and class discussions will happen daily in my classroom. This will foster the sense of community and working together, solving problems together, or just making friends. Having a seating chart is great. We'll talk about that more in physical, but I think that having the children working together is a great way to build community. Also, I really want to have the families visit our classroom and be a big part in participating in classroom procedures, not just parties. I want them to be able to feel comfortable coming to me with problems or successes, wanting to come and read or help with stations or whatever it may be. I really want to try to get my students' families incorporated into the classroom as often as possible. Emotional. My students will be encouraged to be who they are and to own it. But by owning it, it shouldn't distract others from learning. I could imagine saying this to third graders, like, be yourself and own it. They might take that into a totally other context and come to school in a crazy outfit or talking in a different language or something like that. But I just want to make sure that, that's okay and that's awesome that you are yourself, but it's going to distract you from learning as well as your peers. I really want to incorporate the students' backgrounds and ethnicities into my classroom. I'd really like to implement some sort of culture day or something like that once a month in my classroom so that my students have the opportunity to learn about other cultures and customs in our classroom as well as the world. So not limiting it to just our classroom and our little classroom community, but everywhere. Let's see here. Another thing that I really want to stress in my classroom is that mistakes are okay. And that's how you learn. And it's totally normal to make mistakes. No one is perfect. And honestly, like perfect is boring. When you make mistakes, you learn and it just it opens your eyes and it makes everything kind of come to light. Like, oh, okay, I did this wrong, and next time I'm gonna think about what I did wrong, and I'm gonna make myself better. I think that's a really important idea to present to children because a lot of times they get down on themselves, and I don't want that to happen in my classroom. Physical. I think that the physical environment of my classroom is probably one of the most important aspects because there's so many different things that go into the physical part of a classroom, whether it be the things on the walls or the position of the desks. Ultimately, it shouldn't be distracting. And my hope is that my students will feel secure, nurtured, and supported by the environment so that they are comfortable and relaxed and able to learn the content that's being delivered. I want to incorporate a cool down area in my classroom for my students to go to reflect on behavior or if they just need a break. Ideally, it could have bean bags for the kids to sit on and books to read, just kind of a chill zone where they can just take a break. The desks will be arranged in pods similar to the picture. So, like 4 or 5 desks, depending on the classroom size. And I want to have a seating chart, so have name tags on the desks so they know where they're going. They're not confused or nervous about like where they're sitting or who they're sitting next to, and they continue to build that community within the classroom and make new friends. And I think it's really important for kids to feel comfortable when they're learning, because if they don't, they won't learn. Essentially, I mean, they probably will, but it'll just be more difficult. So to wrap things up, in building a community in my classroom, expectations will be clear, respect must be present, being yourself is key, and having a safe and secure room are all essential. As long as each of those aspects are present, our classroom community will stay strong and flourish through the entire year. Thank you.